Today, we're talking about a millennial media company, a company that saw its valuation go from 47 billion to 9 billion, a hedge against inflation that also touches on NFTs, and the ultimate recovery play. What is up, everyone, and welcome to the first top stocks video in tin history. Today's video will be a breakdown, not a breakdown, but a quick little summary of 4 tickers, specifically Spacs, that are on my watch list. I was planning on just releasing the typical stock breakdown videos, but there's not enough time for me to pull out 4 videos like that. So I figured, why not let you guys add these stocks to your watch list, get on the same page as me, and this gives you the ability to comment which of these stocks you want to see a full breakdown on first. So it kind of gives us a way to be more inclusive together. On top of that, I have a very special announcement. This month, I plan on releasing my favorite stock on the market. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when that video is posted. Alright, well, without further ado, let's get started with today's video. The first stock I'm talking about is Topps. When I bring up Topps, immediately it brings back, if you were into trading cards, a happy feeling. It's more of like a nostalgic type idea. When I think of my baseball cards, it makes me want to run to my garage and open my binder filled with 100 different Phillip Rivers cards. What I'm getting is it's something that doesn't seem to be going away. Only now the company, 80 years later, is a lot stronger with a lot broader of a portfolio. They do everything from confections, meaning, candy and stuff, digital stuff. They do gift cards. They do a lot. And this is exactly why Jason Mudrick, the head of MUDS, M-U-D-S, that's the Spac that's acquiring Topps, he came out and said that, word for word. He believes that Topps' culture of innovation, strong management team, expanding margins, robust cash flow has set them apart from other consumer growth companies. Now, the reason I'm interested is not only because I love sports, but because last year, I saw Mike Trout cards sell for millions and millions of dollars when this guy right here, Fernando Tatis, is even better. So I figured, buy a Tatis card and I'll make just as much. And honestly, if I would have done that, I would have been somewhat right. These cards went up crazy in value. Everybody wanted them. And I mean, that's why Topps saw a 23% increase in sales year over year. Now, on top of that, I believe the reason you're seeing such high demand for these baseball cards is because of inflation. Think about it. Baseball cards is basically like an art or a fine wine. The older, the more rare, the better condition it's in, the more money it's going to be worth, just like fine art. So I believe that baseball cards is slowly becoming a perfect hedge against inflation for some people. And this is why we're seeing the popularity for them growing away. Apart from baseball cards, 35% of Topps' revenue comes from confection goods, meaning candies such as Bazooka bubblegum or Ring Pops and Baby Bottle Pops and all those nostalgic candy brands. See the trend here? Nostalgic? Yeah, all those are owned by Topps. I had no idea that the baseball card company made 35% of its revenue through candies like that. Okay, now the last thing I'll mention is Topps' ability to play on NFTs. Now, what is an NFT, you're asking? I'm not completely sure. I think it's a way to essentially give ownership to a digital photo or video or baseball card maybe. So what I think Topps is doing with this is through their app, which they've had for the last few years, is now allowing people to tie their name through blockchain and NFTs to pretty much give value to baseball cards. And now we're able to see people trading cards and that actually have value essentially digitally. Now, the benefits in this, I mean, before you would have to take your cards and trade with your friends and people you knew. Now you can go to the app and try to trade with someone in, I don't know, New York or Spain or France. You know what I'm getting at? At least that's just my perspective on things. I could be wrong. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, so everything I say should be taken as opinion and not as fact, and you should always be doing your own research. All right, well, as much as I want to continue talking about Topps, I can't take any more time on it. Let's get to the next stock, BuzzFeed. Now, BuzzFeed was brought up to me by a viewer in the comments section last week, and ever since then, it's sort of caught my attention. I haven't been able to dive deep into the company and do the extensive research like I like to do, but I still wanted to get this ticker out to all of you. So that's why I decided to add it to this video. The company plans to go public at a $1.5 billion valuation via Spac. After the process is all done and over with, they expect to trade under the ticker BZFD. And this is all expected to close out by Q4 of this year. But what is BuzzFeed? Well, for one thing, they're a brand name that has been around pretty much as long as social media has been around. They're sometimes considered as the future of media. And over the last 10 years, they've essentially become the top choice for millennials and Gen Z. According to BuzzFeed's website, 73% of Gen Z and millennials use BuzzFeed each month. And BuzzFeed plans to continue expanding. They recently acquired Complex Networks, which essentially allows them to have exposure in the streetwear, the music, and the culture side of things. This, in a way, expanding their exposure and user base. Now, my first experience with BuzzFeed was when they acquired Tasty. Tasty's those 30 to 50 second videos where it's quick and they show you little recipes and stuff. I used to love watching those, but that was until BuzzFeed took it and made the main goal of those videos not to give recipes, but to make money. By that I mean they started just pretty much revolving the videos around, let's say, a certain product that was sponsoring them and whatnot, and it essentially made the experience worse for the user. But I'm sure it made the profits a lot better for the investors. So, I mean, as an investor, I guess that's a good thing, but as a user, it wasn't the best. So that's at least just my own personal experience with BuzzFeed. Not that that means anything, but just wanted to give it. Okay, next up, we'll talk about the big crash. By that, I'm talking about WeWork. WeWork is a company that essentially tried to revamp the way we work. Get it? WeWork. Now, I first assumed that WeWork was nothing more than just a landlord, but that's not the case. What WeWorks does is rents a few floors from, let's say, a property manager and essentially revamps them. They choose spaces in specifically urban areas or highly densely populated areas. And what they do is they take these office buildings and they add in communal areas. They add in nicer office workspace. They put a variety of amenities such as coffee bar, beer on tap, snacks on deck. They have beanbag chairs set up. They have cool cards when you walk in just to make. They basically are trying to create the perfect millennial spot of work. They want work to be fun, not something you're looking down on, but something you're looking forward to. But the best part is with WeWork, all these amenities come out to about 25% less than your typical lease. The goal in this was to promote all these separate businesses to work together, turning the me into we. WeWork. Like I said, the concept's there and it's absolutely awesome. And this is why we see over 850 different WeWork locations around the globe, as well as a slate of customers from Amazon to Tesla, and they expect to see their memberships increase from 400,000 all the way to 1.5 million by 2024. But do be warned that WeWork in the past has been known to lie, so to say. If you haven't watched Hulu's documentary on the original collapse of WeWork, I definitely will give it a look. It basically explains how FOMO, the fear of missing out, led to big-time investors from SoftBank all the way to Saudi Arabia to pump up this valuation all the way to $47 billion when it definitely was not worth that amount. WeWork used finance tricks such as, They called it a community adjusted EBITDA, which basically brought their losses to a profit with that adjustment. Go figure. On top of that, the old CEO was being very mischievous with his wording, saying that they are choosing when to be profitable and not profitable. It was just a lot of nonsense, so to say. But luckily for us, Adam Neumann is no longer the CEO, and he's completely out of the picture now, leaving the floor to Sandeep Mantari. Now, if I butchered that name, I apologize, but now he's in charge of taking advantage of this unique concept and making it what it should be. Okay, now the final SPAC I want to mention, now currently this is nothing more than a rumor. And if you guys were a part of the whole Horizon, Sport Radar, merger, rumor news, you realize that these things don't always pan out the way they should. So do take in consideration that this company may not ever even become a stock. But if it becomes official and the numbers do check out, this is a company that I am very, very interested in. The company I'm talking about is Bolero. Bolero has over 300 bowling alleys across the United States. Essentially what they're doing is somewhat of a Topgolf-like approach to bowling. They're trying to make it fun, more entertaining. They're adding the backlights, more games around it. They have fun food, like good food essentially, just like Topgolf is doing it, making it a fun atmosphere for younger millennial people to go out and do. Again, if you haven't noticed a trend, a lot of these SPACs have to do with us millennials, and that's because as we grow, these companies should grow as well. At least that's my train of thought with all this. On top of the company creating a fun atmosphere with their bowling alleys, bowling itself is essentially the ultimate comeback play that nobody is talking about, and that's because there's not many bowling stocks on the market. But I mean, just the other day, me and my cousins went to the lanes for the first time since the whole COVID thing happened, and not only did we have fun, but the place was slammed. It was a Sunday night after 9 p.m., and pretty much every single lane was filled up. And now I believe with Bolero's 300 plus lanes across the US, they're setting themselves up to take full advantage of this wave of customers excited to bowl. On top of that, the company has made acquisitions over the past few years that's essentially setting them up to become this bowling kingpin. What I'm talking about is in 2019, Bolero acquired the PBA. Yeah, the Professional Bowling Association. And on top of that, they got Brunswick a few years before that. In my eyes, I see Bolero trying to become this bowling kingpin, like I called them earlier. Well guys, since I don't want to make this video too much longer than it already is, I guess I'll leave you at that. This month, I plan on making full in-depth videos on a few of the companies I talked about today, but probably not every one of them. So if there's one of the companies that I specifically talked about today that you're really interested, let me know in the comments below. That way I know where to focus my attention on this month. On top of that, I plan on releasing a very, very special video on what I would say is my favorite stock in the stock market. Now I'll give you guys a little hint. It's something, or it's named after something you write with. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know what that stock is, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And lastly, if you like this video, well, hit the like button. Well, everyone, that's all I got for you today. Always remember, the time is now.